ranked their top 100 NFL players, and 10 quarterbacks made the list, but noticeably missing was Carson Wentz. Shannon, I'm sure you got a big problem with this. Fire away. Floor is yours.
This is crazy to me to think that Carson Wentz led his team to a division title, and then to get them a home playoff game, goes to the playoffs. And he's not one of the 100 best players in all of football. Skip, Carson Wentz did something this year that no other quarterback had ever done in the history of the game. He's the first quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards in a season, and in that same season have zero wide receivers to have at least 500 receiving yards. Let that sink in for just a second. You throw for 4,000 yards, and not one of your wide receivers have at least 500 yards. Now, he did this with D-Jack being out basically all the entire season. Alshon missing half the season. He's throwing to basically guys that started the season on the practice squad. He loses Lane Johnson for the last month of the season. He loses his starting left tackle for 3 games during the season. And he still did what he did. So if I were to ask Dak Prescott, I'd say, Dak, I'm going to take away Amari for the entire season, and I'm going to take away Michael Gallup for half the season, and you're going to lose Lyle Collins for 4 games, and you're going to lose Tyron Smith for 3 games. Hell, he couldn't get them to the playoffs, and he had all them guys. But I got something very interesting for you. But this is what Dak going to take no Jerry Jones. He said, Jerry, I don't know if you read this, but they said I'm 46. Deshaun Watson, 62. Matt Ryan, 70. Did you see the money that they gave Matt Ryan to sign? Did you see how much he making? Did you see what Deshaun Watson going to be asking for? So, hey, I'm sorry that Carson Wentz is not on that list, but old Dakota Prescott looking real pretty right now, Skip. You think you about to really dump on walking to him, but old Dak Prescott got this same list and got it right there in front of Jerry. Hey, Jerry, I'm 46. Those other guys, 62 and 70. And one guy didn't even make the list.
Once again, Shannon Sharpe is attempting to change the subject because he knows how much trouble he's in this debate, which he's virtually already lost. So let's get this straight, Mr. Sharpe. Your man,
yes,
Walk It To Him Wentz, just moonwalked right out of the top 100. Really? I can see that. Dak was ranked 46, but hey, how about Darren Waller, the tight end for the now Las Vegas Raiders? He ranked 79th. At least he made the top 100. But, Walk It To Him, or as I call him, Bounce It To Him, he didn't make it.
Whoa.
So what did we see down the stretch? Go ahead.
Can I ask, Skip, hold on, wait a minute. You just not just a segment ago, when you talking about Dak doesn't deserve his money, you say the players voted, and Dak didn't even make it. And you was talking about that was one of the reasons he doesn't deserve to get paid. Now, are you going to sing his praise now that he's 46 and he deserves his money?
This isn't about Dak Prescott. We already did that. It's been put to bed, at least for this day. Now we're talking about Carson Wentz, as in W-I-N-C-E, as in he's always hurt. He got hurt early in his playoff game. He has a long history of injury in this league and at North Dakota State. So what did we see down the stretch from him? Yes, he played inspired football, gutsy football. He was down to his second and third team receivers. He was down to practice squad receivers. But what did he really do in those last 4 games? Well, he beat the 3-13 Redskins. He beat the 4-12 Giants twice. And he beat my 8-8 Dallas Cowboys. That's what he did.
Yes.
And his numbers, he threw 7 touchdowns to no interceptions in those 4 games. But the QBRs weren't great. In fact, one game against the Giants at home, he had a 36, the game that went to overtime. And he had a 40 at the Giants in the last regular season game, which wasn't that great. His total QBR for the 4 games, his average was 53, which is average at best. So I'm not sure that Doug Peterson put a whole lot of stock in those last 4 games, because right on cue against Seattle in a home playoff game, he got hurt again. and he threw completed one pass out of 4 in that game for a grand total of 3 yards. So right now, Carson Wentz's playoff statistics for his career, 1 completion for 3 yards. That's frightening. And Doug Peterson is probably more in my corner than in yours. I don't think Doug Peterson has ever bought completely into Carson Wentz, hence Jalen Hurts in the second round. I've said from the start, and I stand by this, I've never bought completely into Carson Wentz's poise, his command, his feel for playing quarterback, his consistent accuracy when there was no pressure in the last 4 games with very low expectation. He was very good, or at least good. I won't go very, but he was good. Good enough to go 9-7 and barely win the NFC East. And then he got hurt. And then Jalen Hurts got drafted. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again, Shannon Sharp. I believe that over time, Jalen Hurts will prove to be the better quarterback than Carson Wentz on leadership and killer will and playmaking. I love Jalen Hurts, and it's going to tear my soul out if he becomes the starting quarterback for your Eagles. But I think that's destined. I believe that Carson Wentz is in trouble. I don't believe he's in the top 100, and I believe he's not even going to be on the field at some point fairly soon for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Skip, you talk about the teams that he beat down the stretch. You said he beat the Washington. You guys played them twice and beat them twice. You said he beat the Giants. You guys played them and beat them twice. But they also played you guys, you bums, and beat you, the Cowboys. And they did something you couldn't do. They beat the Packers. You remember that, Skip? They beat the Packers in Green Bay.
Yeah,
Aaron
Rodgers failed to see a wide-open Darius Shepard standing in the end zone saying, they blew the coverage, I'm open. Aaron Rodgers forced it into the middle of the field to Valdez-Scantling, and it got intercepted. Way to go, Aaron.
Skip, I'm not saying that Carson Wentz is a top 10 quarterback, but it's hard for me to believe that a guy that accomplished what he accomplished last year is not one of the 100 best players in all of football. To get a team to win a division, when you're doing it with basically none of your best weapons, and to do that when your guy had a full cachet and couldn't get it done.
All right, we got more Tom Brady to get to. Is he better suited for Bruce Arians' stretch the field offense than we think? We dive into that next.
No mercy.